Right now at 5:30, the Badgers are moving on in the big dance. We'll have the highlights live from Denver, Colorado. UW fans showed out in force, both near the Rockies and back here in Madison. We'll have reaction after today's big win. And Wisconsin's April 1st election is fast approaching. What voters want from the state's next top education official. We welcome you to News 3 Now at 5:30. Good evening and thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson. Eric Franke is off tonight. Well, the Badgers are moving on in the NCAA tournament. Big smiles here. And we're bringing you special coverage of the big dance as News 3 is the only local station covering the Badgers out west. News 3 Now sports director Zach Hanley is live in Denver with highlights from the Badgers game against Montana. Zach?
Sarah, usually when you think of this team, it's the Johns. John Tonje or John Blackwell having a big game to lead the Badgers to a win. Well, those two weren't the only ones playing today against Montana. On the biggest stage, Wisconsin got big-time production from their bench, mainly from Xavier Amos, and he did a little bit of everything for Wisconsin. Amos finished 1 point off his season high with 11. He also grabbed 4 rebounds and had 2 monster blocks. It was a big boost off the bench, and it was exactly what Wisconsin needed.
X played amazing. You know, he was everywhere on both ends of the court, and that's what we need out of him because we know how high his ceiling is and we know how good of a player he can be, so we need that night in and night out, and he showed it up today.
It's always been a dream of mine, you know, playing in March Madness, feeling the atmosphere, the energy, all of that, and it's really beautiful, you know, to be here. And I'm happy I'm here with these guys battling every day.
Now, as far as how long this group is going to enjoy today's win, not very long, as Carter Gilmore told me after the game. They'll enjoy it until he unties his shoes. And we'll bring in Arman Rahman. I'm guessing the Badger fans that you talk to are going to enjoy this one maybe a little bit more than the Badger teammates.
Yeah, I think they're savoring this one all throughout the night. We're going to be hearing a lot of those on Wisconsin's, I think, throughout Denver here. And obviously being here, seeing the Badgers win their first tournament game in 3 years is a big deal for any fan. But these two guys in particular, we're not going to miss it. At Wally's Wisconsin Tavern earlier today, I ran into Peyton and Austin. They're close friends with Stephen Crowell, who put up 18 points in today's game. They grew up with the Badger forward back in Eagan, Minnesota.
We flew out here to support him today. That's why we're here. So we went to high school with him. If you're fortunate enough to be a Badger fan and be in the Badger experience, there's nothing like it. Especially seeing your buddy who you grow up with. These guys are dogs. Top to bottom, these guys are dogs. I'm ready for it. Wisco, we're making a run. You can feel
3 words: survive and advance.
And even though Crowell is a monster on the court with all those other dogs that they mentioned, Peyton and Austin say he's actually a bit of a shy guy off the court, and but still very nice and very funny. They flew in at 4:30 in the morning from Minnesota today just to see their old buddy play, and now they're going to be here a bit longer to see him play once again on Saturday. For now, reporting in Denver, Colorado, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
How fun, Arman, and we would all do that for our Badgers. Thanks so much. And now let's turn now to Tanisha Shaw, who watched the game in downtown Madison at the Nitty Gritty. Tanisha, I can't imagine those fans getting any quieter in there. It's so much fun.
Listen, Sarah, I had to go upstairs in a corner in a ducked off spot because it was so loud. Everybody is so proud of Wisconsin, and not only the college team, but the basketball teams as well. Again, I am here at Nitty Gritty right near UW's campus. People are so excited because UW just won. They just beat Montana. So like I said, people are not only celebrating Wisconsin, the college team, but they're also celebrating high school basketball teams across Wisconsin. They're celebrating the boys during the WIA Boys Basketball Championship games that are going on right now. Earlier today, after the Badgers won, while everybody was so excited, I got to talk to some high school students who said they're here not only for the Badgers game, but also to watch some championships games.
It's been pretty great. I'm excited to watch the state basketball game soon. And Wisconsin just won, so that's pretty good. Elite 8, Final 4, championship, they going all the way.
I think they're about to find Elite 8.
And it's kind of funny because while the high schoolers were kind of in doubt of how far the Badgers would go, they said their school, Lake Mills, were definitely going to secure this W, and I found that kind of interesting. But as always, we are celebrating the Badgers today. Nitty Gritty gave me this gear to celebrate the Badgers. And I also want to personally say thank you to Nitty Gritty for letting us be here today and celebrate with their fans. And I'm going to continue to celebrate Sarah. Next up, the Badgers play BYU in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
All right, Tanasia, hopefully you can go have some fun now, too. Thanks so much. Great job. And now to a look at our forecast. Spring is in the air. It is the first day of spring. But that does mean it's time for more rain. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is out on the weather patio. When is it coming?
That's right. It is the first day of spring, and it feels like spring. I mean, we've had 60s and 70s earlier this month, but it does feel a little like spring out here. Some of the plants are beginning to sprout up in the weather patio here, so that's always nice to see. But we did come off of some pretty decent snow across southern Wisconsin and central Wisconsin, especially up near Toma, picking up nearly a foot of snow. New Rome, a half a foot of snow. DeForest and Reedsburg, we didn't even crack 4 inches of snow. Reedsburg, we only got 2 inches, and so those snow totals really did taper off the further south you went, and a lot of that probably melted today as temperatures climbed above freezing. For folks in Janesville, it is not 21 degrees. I believe that is a sensor issue. Everybody is in the upper 30s to the low 40s for the most part. We're at 40 in Madison, 40 in Platteville, 41 in Monroe, likely in those upper 30s to low 40s in the Janesville area too. And Edgerton, we are not at 24 either. Again, that is most likely a sensor issue. 41 in Cross Plains. Rain is on the way. It doesn't arrive tonight. We are going to sit quietly over the next 12 hours, eventually settling into the upper 20s to low 30s underneath those clear to mostly clear conditions. Rain arrives Friday, but the better chance for rain and even snow returns on Sunday. We've got details on how much of rain and snow we could see in the full forecast.
All right, thank you, Blaze. 2 suspects have been taken into custody after a shooting at a gas station in Pleasant Springs. The Dane County Sheriff says Creed Moore and Dwayne Johnson have been arrested in connection to the death of Kyle Thrasher from Janesville. Moore is charged with first-degree homicide, armed robbery, endangering safety by use of a dangerous weapon, and being a felon in possession of a firearm. Johnson is charged with felony murder and armed robbery. The homicide remains under investigation by the Dane County Sheriff's Office. And a man is declared AWOL from the Dane County Jail Diversion Program. Anthony Gilbert was reported AWOL yesterday and was last seen in the area of Mallard Lane in Madison. You can see him right here. Gilbert is serving a sentence for obstructing and possession of methamphetamine. A warrant for his arrest has been issued. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to please call the Dane County Communications Center. Well, a Broadway play headed to Madison features a local connection. This week, A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond story, is playing at the Overture Center. And it turns out one cast member was born and raised in Wisconsin. Michael Accardo is playing 2 roles, Neil's dad, Keeve Diamond, as well as his record producer, Bert Burns. Accardo was raised in Port Edwards and lived in Madison for a couple of years. We got to talk to him about his return to the city.
It's great to be back in Madison, where when I'm in a different town and I don't know a lot of people, I can kind of just laze around. Now I've got a list of commitments that I have to keep, which is fine by me. I get to see a lot of old great friends and, gosh, high school friends and family. And I'm a pretty lucky guy.
The musical will play through Sunday at the Overture Center. Tickets start at $31 and are available at the Overture Center's website. Well, still to come on News 3 Now at 5:30, Blaze tells us about the rain headed for the region. And we are less than 2 weeks from the April 1st election now. What voters are looking for from Wisconsin's next Department of Public Instruction superintendent. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. We are less than 2 weeks away from finding out who Wisconsin's next top education official will be. Our Ellie LaLiberte brings us the latest on the candidates vying for that title following their first and likely only forum to discuss key issues.
The 2 candidates looking to oversee public education in Wisconsin are incumbent Jill Underly seeking a second term and education consultant Brittany Kinzer. But I went out today to see what voters want from the next state superintendent.
Caitlin Walker is a teacher in New Lisbon and has a son in Mauston schools.
Both districts have or will ask voters to pay more in property taxes.
We're putting people in a really tight situation that even when they want to support our schools, they can't afford to.
In 2024, Wisconsin voters approved a record number of referenda.
I think we need to look at it far more systemically.
Walker says she wants a state superintendent who could attack that problem.
We have to really look at our school funding formula. When we look at these large referendums in our cities, especially, there is a correlation between the rise of the voucher program.
Wisconsin's funding formula needs to be modernized, and I promise to be a leader in that. As I said, I have relationships on both sides of the aisle.
Michael Viertaler has lived in Madison for more than 70 years and says he knows what he wants from Wisconsin schools.
I'd like to see higher test scores and funding. I think teachers should get paid better.
There is a teacher shortage in Wisconsin. 40% of first-year teachers leave the state or profession altogether in the first 6 years.
We have to come up with innovative ideas, but also let's implement ideas we know that are working in other states.
Suggested in the budget that we pay student teachers and we invest in teacher mentors.
State superintendent is a position that comes up every 4 years and oversees things like education policy, teacher licensing, and funding in the classrooms. Reporting in Madison, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Ellie. And if you're looking to learn more about the candidates before heading to the polls, we have profiles up on each of the candidates right now on channel3000.com. And when we come back, severe weather rocks the Midwest and dismantling the Department of Education, the executive order being signed by the president to fulfill his campaign promise.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. President Trump is taking the first steps in his promise to get rid of the federal Department of Education. The president signing an executive order to begin the process of dismantling the Department of Education as he seeks to shift responsibilities to states. The administration says services such as student loans and Pell Grants will remain at the department for now, but will eventually move to other agencies.
We don't need to be spending more than $3 trillion over the course of a few decades on a department that's clearly failing in its initial intention to educate our students.
Now, the president cannot eliminate the department with the stroke of a pen. He will need congressional approval to completely dissolve the agency. A powerful storm system continues to threaten parts of the country. On this first day of spring, the system brought blizzards and whiteout conditions across parts of 6 states. Check this out, including Nebraska and Iowa. Possible tornadoes were reported in north central Illinois as well. In northwestern Indiana, the roof off an elementary school was peeled off. Powerful winds uprooted a tree onto Jessica Ramirez's home right as her mother was rushing inside. And then here in southern Wisconsin, there's another chance for a wintry mix as we end the weekend or begin the weekend. Right now, at least it's calm.
That's right. Yeah, we had the hail reports out of southwestern Wisconsin, the tornado reports in the Peoria area from that one system that continues to move its way eastward. We're going to get a break from weather systems tonight and for most of your Friday and really Saturday as well. And then Sunday, our next big system moves through the Midwest. That's going to bring us another round of rain and snow and likely a few thunderstorms that look to be, for now, non-severe. So our next low pressure system isn't coming necessarily out of the south, but it's still going to pack a lot of moisture with it as we go throughout your Sunday. Again, showers and maybe a few thunderstorms move in as we go into your overnight hours through your Sunday afternoon. That rain-snow mix and then that snow there across northern Wisconsin. As we go into your Sunday night into Monday, that's when northwesterly winds take over, and that's when we here across central and southern Wisconsin really start to see our first chance for that snow. How much snow are we looking at? Like this last round, not as much across central and southern Wisconsin. It's once you get into northern parts of Juneau, Adams County, as well as Green Lake and Marquette and Waushara counties northwards, that we start to get into that 1, 2, maybe 2 to 4 inch mark. That's where a lot of the snow is going to fall, but we could still squeeze out less than an inch here across central and southern Wisconsin Sunday into Monday. In terms of rain, we're looking at a couple tenths of an inch to about a quarter to a half an inch of rain. Most of that moisture is still going to fall off to our north. They need it just as much as we do. Drought conditions still persist across a lot of Wisconsin, with moderate drought conditions at our most extreme. In terms of temperatures over the next 6 to 10 and even 8 to 14 days, it does look like we're going to likely teeter on the cooler than average side. We got about a 40 to 50% chance of sitting cooler than average, not only over the next 6 to 10 days, but over the next 8 to 14 days as well. We started off cooler than average back on the 1st and the 2nd, and then we spent really the last 2 weeks or so underneath warmer than average temperatures. Right now, our average temperature for the month from the start through yesterday's date is just shy of 39 degrees, which is about 7 degrees warmer than where it should be from the start of the month through yesterday's date. But with our incoming cooler than normal trends, it'll likely be slightly cooler average temperature by the end of the month. There was a look at our Friday forecast, upper 40s to low 50s, upper 40s for folks further north and west, because we still have a lot of snow on the ground that we have to melt. As I said, we pretty much stay quiet Friday and Saturday, other than a few rain showers Friday night into early Saturday. Rain-snow mix on Sunday, and then we have near daily chances for rain, snow, or at the very least a mix of both as we look towards the last full week of March.
March is how teams are remembered, and in recent history, Wisconsin's performances in the month have been ones to forget. But this Badger team exercised some demons today in the first round. Wisconsin is 3-0 all-time against Montana, and John Tonje was doing everything he could to make it 4-0. He hits the 3+1. Badgers led by 8 at the break. Tonje finished with 15. And in the second half, they just took over. John Blackwell to the cup with ease for the hoop and the harm. Game-high 19 points from him. And then Carter Gilmore had his moment. He spots up and splashes home the triple, and then shushes the Montana crowd to put the Badgers up 7. And it was all over after that. Nolan Winter, money from deep. Badgers are moving on with an 85-66 win. They'll face BYU on Saturday.
It feels really good. Obviously last year we lost the first one, so I never got to experience a true March Madness win. So to be able to get one under my belt now feels really good, and I'm proud of these dudes today.
We got here last year, we couldn't get the job done. You know, it's a great feeling. You know, smiles on everybody's faces, but more importantly, it's good because we got a good team win. You know, we came in here and handled business and didn't play around from the jump. So it's a good feeling for sure.
It's awesome just to move forward, and when you're in March Madness, you can't take any game for granted. So super happy with our guys. Super happy that we get to move on and spend more time together. I mean, senior year, this is my last time, so I'm just embracing every moment.
Now, obviously, the Badgers are excited to get the win, as you just heard, but walking off the court after the game, they were all businesslike because they didn't come to Denver to just get one win. Live outside Ball Arena, Zach Hanley, News 3 Sports.
All right, Zach, thanks so much. Looking forward to Saturday. And the Badgers are also in Minneapolis, the women's hockey team for the Frozen Four. Our Andrew Banstra is there now with a preview of tomorrow's game.
Welcome to the Women's Frozen Four here in Minneapolis, where Wisconsin women's hockey is in search of breaking their own record and winning their 8th national championship. But to get to that national championship game, the Badgers first have to get through Minnesota on Friday night, right here on the Gophers' home ice.
Plenty of teams, our season's over and they don't get to play again until September, and we have the opportunity to keep doing what we love with the people we love. So tomorrow at 7:30, we have another opportunity to showcase ourselves. Yeah, it's just so exciting.
It just sets up for a great semifinal game. And so the place is sold out. I mean, I don't know how much better it gets than that.
The good news is that the Badgers are a perfect 5-0 against the Gophers this season. But as Mark Johnson put it, if you spend too much time looking in the rearview mirror, you might just crash. At Ritter Arena, Andrew Banstra, News 3 Sports.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Always a great time to be a Badger, right? News 3 Now's programming will be a little different tomorrow as well. CBS is airing March Madness again, and you'll be tuned in. Here's where you can watch us. Friday. That's tomorrow. News 3 Now at noon will be on TW and streaming on Channel 3000 Plus. Live at 4 will be on TVW and Channel 3000 Plus. And we will join CBS when the game is over. We will have 5 and 5:30 shows on CBS, TW, and Channel 3000 Plus. Our 6 and 10 p.m. shows will also be on all three. There's a graphic to check that out, and you can find it on our website as well.
Yes, it is going to be a quiet night, so kick back, relax, and watch all the basketball you can. Rain to end Friday after warm temperatures and cloudy conditions, and then we get ready for rain snow mix on Sunday.
All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back in about 30 seconds with another newscast for you.